Hey everyone, it's Keri TV, and I talked in one of my earlier episodes about buying and selling when you own something and need to sell to buy, and I've just had two real-life examples, and I wanted to share it with you today. Now I'm in the wild, it's windy, and it's busy. You know what, I just want the sound quality to be a little bit better, so I'm going to take you guys back to the office and tell the tale of these two properties at 850 North Hudson. Stay tuned. So it's my continuation from being outside the building. So interestingly enough, one of my very amazing past clients ended up selling his condo that we purchased together. He purchased, I helped him a few years ago, 4 or 5 years I think. And then he ended up selling and buying and referred one of his neighbors in the building who ended up selling and buying 4 blocks away from him, which I think is so cute. They were very identical couples in a way. Not newly married, but married with babies, baby on the way. Moved to a similar, obviously 4 blocks away with great schools. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this because I highlighted in one of my first episodes, as I mentioned, the contingent sale. So both of these people had a condo and they needed to sell it to buy another place. I know that I've mentioned that there's 3 or 4 different ways to do this. So I want to highlight both of these real life examples. So the first person was my past client. This was literally one of the smoothest transitions and not that likely. It was one of those perfect fairy world scenarios, and I actually at one point in the escrow was down for Thanksgiving in Mexico with my fiance, and we were talking on the phone and I kept telling him, like, this is literally a fairy tale, and I know that you don't do this every day, but I'm telling you, you've had the best experience and it's all good things and good people all working together. So what happened was, I'm not going to name names, but they went out, they were looking for properties for a while. They found a great home that they liked, and they decided, okay, we're gonna put an offer in, but we have to sell ours in order to buy this property. So what we ended up doing was we put an offer on the property to see if we could get some traction or if this is something that would work out, because it's hard to put your property up unless you have somewhere to go. So we negotiate, we're going back and forth on price. He goes, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna buy this, let's get my place listed. So the whole circus, horse and pony show, everything, everybody's scrambling. We're booking photographers, videographers. They're doing everything to get their house picture perfect, get all the, kind of staging going on. They did, I can't even believe the transformation that they did to their place. I gave them instructions on what to do, what not to do, colors, brought some decorations, we got the photos up. So we ended up putting theirs on the market. We open escrow on their purchase. Now mind you, they cannot make this purchase unless this property sells. So we do inspections on their purchase. Theirs goes up on the market. We do an open house. They move forward, they do the appraisal on their purchase. We get an offer come in. It was actually on about 2.5 weeks, maybe 2 weeks when we got this offer. So they had a 17-day inspection on their purchase. So this person comes in, it was an agent I know from my old Fabulous Women in Real Estate days. Her client is cash, which is great, and her client wants to close in 2 weeks. What? Okay, I was like, you guys, this is a really good situation. So they put an offer on it. With a condo, it's hard to close really quickly because of the HOA documents unless the buyer waives it, but it does take a while for these HOA documents to come through because you have to order them through the HOA. It takes a time to process. So you order them right away, it takes 7 to 10 days. So really with a condo, you probably, unless people are waiving everything, it's hard to close within a week. So we have 14 days. And also with this buyer, they also allowed them to rent back the property. Forgot how perfect this was. Did I forget? No. So we negotiate a little bit on the price, get into escrow, do inspections very quickly. So these buyers are ready to move forward. We have a rent back for, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks. So the purchase for these sellers was 45 days. So they were able, right when this buyer was ready to release all contingencies, they were ready in their purchase to release all their contingencies. So they were able to ensure that the buyer on their property was ready to move in, ready to close, and they were able to then move forward and remove contingencies on their purchase and then close escrow and then use a little bit of time for that rent back so then they could then move. So they closed on their sale before they closed on their next purchase, and that's why they needed the rent back. So it was such a unique situation because they were able to write on this new place. And mind you, there was another offer on this other property, but they had written in a contingency of sale. Yes, technically they were contingent. They were moving quickly to make things happen. You know, I try to help people move between the pieces to make things happen when it's not the easiest situation. So I've got a few tricks up my sleeve that my clients know that we work with to make it happen, and that's only from years of experience. So we were able to just get this killer deal done so smoothly. These people are just so amazing and lovely and wonderful to work with, and on top of it, so we had such a great buy and sell deal. They had their rent back, cleaned it up, and then they moved into their new place. So, and I kept telling them, you guys, this doesn't happen every day. So then the next buyer, the next referral from the seller in the other unit who was buying, I sat down with them around beginning of the year, and we talked about how this process works, and I was explaining the different situations, because at the end of the year last year I had 4 different people selling that needed to buy something. So every situation's different, and I was working out the kinks into how to make it done and presenting all the options. So these sellers were a little bit different from the original clients I had upstairs, and they said, we want to do, what are our options? I explained it to them about getting a loan, a short-term loan, borrowing money, taking from 401k, putting yours up, doing a rent back, or just taking funds from your property or equity purchasing. So they ended up taking funds from another source of funds from themselves. They didn't borrow money, but they took it from one of their other equity funds, their 401k. So they ended up shopping for a home, purchased, and bought completely without selling their property. Now there was a time period would come up that they would be paying a huge mortgage. So we ended up putting their property up after they bought their house. So we put it up on the market, staged it, everything. They took their time moving things. They had flexibility. So they did not have the pressure of ensuring that their house sold when they bought their other one. The difference between them is they paid for the money that they took out. You paid to borrow money. So that time period between owning 2 properties, they had a little bit of time where they were like, okay, we're good here, but once it gets to this period, we're gonna be paying double mortgages, and we're not okay with that. So we put their property on the market. We got actually 3 offers on it in the first 3 weeks. The market had shifted a bit, as I've discussed in my videos. It got a little slower, not going down, but slower. So we ended up negotiating and got a cash offer again for a great price, $9,000 under asking on this one. And we ended up closing in a couple weeks, and they were happy, and it was a smooth deal. So that's just an example of 2 different contingent types of deals. All these transactions are so different, but I wanted to share about that because I know I've spoken about all the options, but those are 2 real life examples. So definitely with the move up buyer, probably just considering the amount of years I've been in the business and my age, that I work more with move up buyers now, because a lot of the people I sold to are buying, getting married. Like, I'm getting married. Do I talk about getting married in every video? Because I am. That's Keri TV today. Thank you so much for watching all these tips, tricks, and insights into what's really going on in the market, all the facts that you really need, and we're always here to help you.